Hello everyone, my name is AZZATRU, how are you, and welcome to another Star Wars Battlefront 2 video of mine. And in this one, I'm going to be joining in on the biggest discussion going on in the Battlefront community right now, and that is Droidekas. Yes, the latest reinforcement we've been waiting so many months for is finally playable in Battlefront 2, but their release has been met with a little bit of soft controversy. Vocal players in the community on social media have clashed on if Droidekas are too weak or too powerful. I thought I'd weigh in with my own personal thoughts and opinions, and get feedback from you, my own community, on the matter. Plus, I have to share some of the things I've been getting up to as a Droideka, from climbing onto the top of MTTs to racing the length of Kashyyyk. These droids are so much more versatile than you may think, but more on that later on in the video. And if you do enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more content like this. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. So let's start by going from the main point people have been talking about: damage output. Droidekas were expected to be ridiculously overpowered or buggy upon release, but actually that was not really the case. To most people, they're considered to be underpowered, and they don't really have many bugs attached to them. This was a real surprise to be sure, but a much welcome one. Droidekas are feared killing machines in other Star Wars media, but also have been seen to be limited and exposed to several weaknesses. I don't understand why people thought a reinforcement in-game would easily kill a hero like a Jedi. A tactical challenge? Sure. But I don't buy the narrative that they should take out heroes so easily. We don't see Droidekas mow down our protagonist Jedi in the films, but a rather steeper hurdle for them to overcome as opposed to one slicing down B1 battle droids. The battle point cost is something I think some people have forgotten about. If they were to increase the damage substantially of the Droidekas, the battle point cost would have to be upped in my opinion. The B2 Super Battle Droid costs 1,500 battle points in contrast to the Droideka at 1,000. The BP value is somewhat low in my opinion. 1,000 can be earned fairly quickly, but it also means many players, including newer and not as good players, can experience this fantastic character more easily. And if you compare the Commando Droid, it costs 2,000 battle points, but in my opinion it's far stronger than the Droideka, thus deserves a higher battle point cost. Not only does it have a long range blaster that can also be very deadly at close range, it can also see enemies using the special vision, and it has a close range attack with the Vibro Sword. And it's not just that, it can also move very quickly as well. Not as fast as the Droideka, but still much faster than any other ground infantry. Not to mention it's going to be getting a buff in the next Battlefront update where it's going to be able to jump much higher. Another point I've seen some people miss is the fact that Droideka blasters deal splash damage, so sometimes if your aim is not on point, you can still deal some pain. I'm pretty sure the Droideka is the only reinforcement that does splash damage, excluding the rocket launchers of course. That being said, the damage, or at least the drop-off, needs buffing just a little bit in my opinion. Whilst you can have few problems taking down several AI bots in Capital Supremacy, coming up against a group of real players in Galactic Assault who usually move in a more frantic fashion and have less of a damage drop-off than you, will usually end in failure for you. You may heavily damage a few of them, especially with that splash damage, and may not even get a single kill before they clean you up. From my experience, I've dealt plenty of damage to groups of enemies, but would not kill one of them as I'd need maybe just 10 or 20 more damage points to kill them. They'd survive to take out my shields and health before I can finish one of them off, especially not at close range. And the question remains, are we going to be seeing a buff or a nerf to the Droideka soon? We're not sure. Ben, the community manager, has said as of now they are happy with how things are, but will continue to monitor things like always. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if we see a Droideka buff in the coming weeks, because when Anakin released, this was the same situation. Many said he was overpowered, and DICE said they'd monitor the situation, get their data, see how people learn how to use his abilities, star cards, and such like that. Same goes for the Droideka. I think it's in that phase right now. We need to see how a lot of people deal with the new star cards they're checking out, and how they get to grips with this new character, and then DICE will take action instead of jumping the gun and potentially making a rash decision. As for the movement of these Droidekas, I think a lot of the criticism and proposed changes by people are not right in my opinion. Some say they transform too slow, they should transform really quick like the original Battlefront games. I say they are how they are in the movies right now, and making them change quickly would make them way too powerful on objectives at close range. Imagine if there's a group of you on an objective and a Droideka or two rolls in, and within 2 or 3 seconds they can pop out their legs, pop their shield, they'll take you out straight away. This game is not the old games. The old game did not do it to movie accuracy, nor was it fair having such a powerful droid on the Separatist side. I also think their movement speed is fine. You can go very fast, very dangerous, but at a cost of spatial awareness and being vulnerable from something like a long-ranged weapon. These breakneck speeds also allow for great racing action, as demonstrated by myself, Finfet and River Thames.
Forces are taking a command post. Our forces have captured a command post.
As you can see, there is a market for Droideka racing maybe one day. DICE please. But that is not all the Droideka can do. It can jump, but rather oddly. I would love to know why they opted for a delayed input and move forward before jumping. I understand some impairment is needed to make sure the jump is not overused to the advantage of the Droideka, but a lesser delay would be nice, if it can't not be removed. However, you can do some pretty cool things using the jump already. For example, we climbed onto the top of an MTT with a little bit of trial and error. You can even get on top of an AAT easily. I'm sure there are plenty of other cool things you can do also. As for those people saying DICE should have added a backwards roll for the Droideka, like the original Battlefront 2 games, I say, hold on a second. You do realise DICE's version is so buttery smooth and the controls are so precise? Do you really need a backwards roll? Because within a few milliseconds you can go from going really fast forward, spinning around and going straight the other way. Unlike the other game, which did not allow that. I don't even know if Droidekas can roll backwards in canon. We did not see them do it in the films, right? The change of direction control you have at your fingertips in DICE's Droidekas is something else. It's fantastic. But all in all, the animation, the 3D model, and such of this character is absolutely incredible, and everyone who worked on this at DICE should be very proud. This is such a sophisticated character that is so movie accurate, and they deserve our thanks. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new and possibly get to try out Droideka racing, or at least something along those lines, messing around with the Droidekas. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on the Droidekas. I'd really appreciate that. I read all of the comments. And if you did enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you want around here, and check out any of the 2 previous videos on screen if you did miss them, and I shall see you all in my next Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. Goodbye.